been enjoying driving this car. It feels so nice. It pulls hard, makes all the right sounds, makes all the work I put into it worth it. And I know somebody will probably say, you should have just bought a V8. Shut up, that's not the point. Anyway, it actually pulls pretty hard in the first gear, but mostly in the first gear. In the second gear, above 3000 RPM, it's a bit weird. It's like it gets jerked, so it's kind of hard to explain. There is boost, but then it kind of like cuts boost. So I think it might be a problem with the spark blowout. The reason why the spark plug gets blown out is because the gap on the V6 Mustang is actually pretty big. It's like 50 thou or something. This gap on a 3.5 EcoBoost is like 32 thou, so it's almost like half the gap. Also 3.5 EcoBoost engines have different coils, which I think are more powerful, and they're not compatible. Oddly enough, the wiring harness is different to connect them. I could probably wire them up, but I don't know if I'm into that. I think I'm planning with the stock coils. Just need to change the spark plugs. I could probably just re-gap the stock spark plugs and it'll be fine. But also I want to step down, change the temperature rating of spark plugs too, just for safety reasons. Alright, there should be a package for me from Rock Auto waiting for me at home, so let's get there and see what we got. Every time I order parts from Rock Auto, I seem to be ordering an oil filter to go along with parts whatever I'm ordering, and then I have too many oil filters. I don't know how does this keep happening to me. So the few things that I do need to address to finish up this tune is I think spark plugs. I think spark plugs is what's causing the drivability issues with the car. So these are one step colder spark plugs. They are also I don't know. They're not iridium spark plugs. They're something else. And actually the major issues is not the material of the quality spark plugs, but the gap. The stock gap on a V6 Mustangs is like 50 thou, and that's about 2 times bigger than what it can actually do with the coil and the boost that it's running. These spark plugs should be gapped at about 32 thou, and that's what you would usually have in 3.5 EcoBoost, even though 3.5 EcoBoost has way more powerful coils. Well, actually it's also running way more boost. Anyway, so we'll do that first. Next thing, I also bought this map sensor. This is not a map sensor that you would find in 3.7 Cyclone that has a map sensor. Well, actually, even if I did have that one, it would not be correct ratio. I think it's from some GM vehicle. Not sure what I get from GM vehicle. I should have probably got something from Ford vehicle just to keep with the theme. But this is not a permanent part. This is just going to be a diagnostic part that is going to be installed in there, and it's going to be wired up into the AC pressure sensor, and then I'll have a data login, and I'll have that as a reference for tuning the speed density tables. And then this is the harness for it. Yeah, I went through all this trouble getting a harness and temporary map sensor. I think this goes up to 3 bars, and I'll need to calibrate it because I'm not sure where the 0 point is, but it should put out 0 to 5 volts. I assume it puts out 0 volts at -1 bar and puts out probably 5 volts at 3 bar. Alright, but that's a future thing to do. I don't I sound like I know what I'm doing. I actually don't. This is just something I've seen in the tutorials. Also, I'm not really sure if this is gonna fix my problem. It just sounds like something that will fix my problem. So let's get installing. I was putting this off for a while because I haven't finished editing videos and because I thought it's a pain to do this. It's actually not so bad. I mean, of course, like one side of the car is totally accessible right there. You can get all of them easily, but other ones are hidden beneath this octopus looking thingy. So yeah, there's just a bunch of bolts on top. You have to undo this purge valve and hook some wires. Oh geez, okay, that one's stuck. Undo the vacuum for the booster, unplug the throttle body, undo this bolt at the front here, undo my PCV hose, and remove the intake pipe. There we go. And now this should come up. There we go. The bolts are retained within this thing, so don't try to pull them out. Just loosen them up until they're completely loose, and then they come out with the intake. And look at those injectors. They feel like right at home in there. There they are. Yeah, I was kind of concerned that they might be like slightly leaking or something because they're actually not made for this engine or for this height. This manifold is not designed for this height of the injectors, but I think they're happy in there. Yeah, so these are the injectors right there. It's not easy to see, but yeah, they look dry. Cool. Let me just stuff some paper towels into those intakes before anything falls in there. And there are the coils. So there's just this one plug. It's held down with socket 8 bolt, and just pull that out. There's this safety pin here. You pull that in, push it, unplug the connector, and the coils just come out like this. Alright, just like that, the last spark plug is out. I had a record that this was done at dealership. What kind of spark plug do you think this is? Iridium or whatever else they make out there? It sure is not copper. It is Motorcraft Platinum. Yeah, and from what I've read, this is probably like a 50 thou gap. And cannot check all of these new spark plugs, but they should be about 32 thou gap. There is this gapping tool, except you don't use this for gapping anything else other than copper, but you can use it as a filler gauge, and so you slide it in to the gap, start at like the smallest, and then rotate it until it stops jamming. It's actually easier with two hands. And there is the 20 thou, 30 thou, and 50 thou are up there. So you should start rotating at about 30 thou or 32 thou. If it is not gapped properly, you need to gap like some kind of tool that will prone this out without prying in between these two electrodes, because you can see they're very small and fragile, so you shouldn't jam anything in between those. And yeah, I think this is actually what would be called like a dual electrode, because there is looks like there is ruthenium on top and there's ruthenium on the bottom. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna check all of these plugs. Okay, got it arranged. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I tried to jimmy it up in there, and that's where it stops, right at 32 thou. And that's what it's supposed to be from factory. So I'm gonna check all of them. These spark plugs are gappable, but it's nice that they came pre-gapped. And I would like to actually have run a bigger gap, like 40 thou, but I don't have a proper tool for that, and I don't think my gapping is gonna be as consistent as what it came in the package. For people who know what they're doing, this is probably really boring. But yeah, you need this spark plug socket, and you kind of sit it in there. It does have like a rubber thingy in there that holds the spark plug in place. And you want to sit it in there well, because you don't want the spark plug to fall out of the socket. If it falls out of the socket and hit something, the gap could change, and that's what I did. I dropped the socket. I dropped the spark plug into the head, and then I had to pull it out and make sure the gap did not change. And yeah, and then you just install it. Also, some spark plugs have like a crash washer. This does not have a crash washer, which I like. So you don't need to do some weird preloading with rotating a few degrees. What I would do is a torque wrench method. The box doesn't say the torque wrench method. I think it tells you the number of turns or amount of turns, but I think I like the torque wrench method best. And it should thread in easily. It should it just like with the tip of your fingers, when it's straight, it will thread in easily, and it will thread in for a while. So don't start wrenching on it until you had like at least, I don't know, 6 turns up in there. And yeah, this is actually quite an easy thing to do on these engines, unlike 4.6 modular engines, 3 valve, which is like an impossible task. Yeah, so I'm just gonna finger tighten them until they bottom out, and after that I will go over them with a torque wrench. And from what I looked up online, the torque spec is 133 inch-pounds. So this is what the box says. I think it says you have to use M14 socket, and you turn it 1/16 of a turn. That's ridiculous. Who can estimate 1/16 of a turn? You can do like maybe 1/4, I don't know, like a half a turn you can do it, but let's see if it looks like 1/16 before this clicks. Okay, let's see here. Okay, there we go, it's vertical. Okay, kind of close, right? All right, now time to reinstall the coil packs. And in case anyone curious, this is what my old plugs look like. They sure don't look like they've been blown out or fouled, or I don't know what else could be. Running rich oil in, they look perfect from what I can, I don't know, uneducated guess tell. I have never really seen anything fouled spark plugs. I think this is what it resembles normal spark plug. Yeah, anyway, also interesting thing is I saw that it's labeled that it says made in Japan, and it says part number on there, which is LTR6BP13, and I googled that number. What these spark plugs are, there are NGK laser iridium, and that's kind of crazy and funny that Motorcraft standard spark plugs are actually NGK. Motorcraft Platinum is actually NGK laser iridium. I don't know why would they label them platinum when they're actually laser iridium. Pretty cool though. Pretty cool that Ford chose NGK as their OEM for the spark plugs. Okay, I think I forgot to explain what I'm doing, why I'm doing. So what I'm experiencing is a spark blowout, and pretty sure I'm experiencing spark blowout because the stock gap on the spark plugs is big. Not because the spark plugs themselves are bad, these actually fine spark plugs and they don't have that many kilometers on them, but because just the gap is too big and it's under high pressure, it just cannot keep the gap closed, and you have incomplete combustion. So whenever the car goes into boost, it just doesn't burn all the fuel, so you're making actually less power. And could I just make the gap smaller on these plugs? Yes, I could make the gap smaller on these plugs and the car would probably run just fine. One thing that I also change in the spark plugs is I'm changing the heat rating. These old spark plugs don't have a lot of insulation, and that's because you want to keep the spark plug at the right temperature for the cleaning purposes. Just like your oven at home, it has a cleaning settings. That's when it gets hot enough to clean out all the gunk and stuff like that. That's what happens in your combustion chamber. You just need to keep these guys at the right temperature to do that. The more power you make, the more heat there is. If there is a lot of heat and a spark plug, it will be really clean, and if it's not dissipating all of the heat, the spark plug itself could be the source of pre-ignition because it's too hot. So the new spark plugs I got better at radiating heat into the head, so they will be cooled down more at the higher temperatures, so they will not be a source of pre-ignition. So that's two things I'm doing here: closing the gap and making sure that my spark plugs don't cause pre-ignition. If I do have problems with spark plugs, I probably could just reuse these old ones and maybe fine tune the gap. That'll be fun too. So that's why I'm gonna keep them. Once again, it's a 8mm socket for all of those intake manifold bolts. There's one at the front here, don't forget that, and the torque spec is I think it was 89 inch-pounds. Never forget, when working on something, there is also a chance you might break something that you weren't intending on replacing, and this is the case. This thing just got stripped. I don't know how. I was tightening it was actually tightening pretty good, and then it started tightening not so good, and then I decided to remove the bolt, and yeah, it is stripped. Anyway, I have more of these clamps, so for now I'm just gonna start cleaning up, and that will be the last thing I install. Replace the hose clamp, and I think the job is complete. Can't wait to test drive this tomorrow. For now, let's just do a test startup. Cool, runs just like normal. I didn't blow off any. Didn't have any spark plugs blow out, or don't have any cylinders missing. So I think we are in good standing. Alright, let's shut it off and sleep. That sun is red. Have not been getting enough sleep for the past few days. Time to get to work and test drive on the way. Probably gonna data log all on the way too. Alright, going to a car meet later after work today, and on the way to work I wanted to test those spark plugs that I've installed. Well, not really testing spark plugs, clearly they're working, the car is running, but I do want to test if it will solve my problem with car not driving very well. I'm not optimistic, I don't know, I think there's something else wrong with it, but yeah, let's get the data logger going. Alright, so cool thing, well, not the cool thing, but how I started doing it is I started recording. I told my laptop not to fall asleep when it's closed, so I can just close it and shove it in between the seat and the center console, and it stays there. Of course I can't really see what the data logs are saying, but you know, I'll look at them afterwards. And let's go for the drive. So my coolant is at operating temp right there in the middle, but my oil pressure, my oil is still not at operating temp, because I know my oil pressure should be lower than this at idle, but I think it's close enough. Soon I'll give some beans, but also there's kind of cop right there. I wouldn't want to do it in front of him. Alright, the coast is clear. Oh yeah. Well, actually, even before, damn. Actually, even before, the car was kind of okay in the first gear, first to second ish, but in the second one I think it stayed in boost for a lot longer than it would usually. Usually we just start, you know, doing its thing. Okay, made it to Mexico. Time to test those spark plugs at high RPM. Okay, maybe I'll let that guy go a little bit. So the car feels like it's getting into higher RPMs, but I kind of have suspicion that maybe my coils are cooked, because I've been running them with such a big gap. They were not able to fire properly, and maybe the internals have worn out or fried, got cooked. So I'm suspicious that maybe it's driving better because of better gap, but maybe the coils are not up to par. Maybe I need new coils. Oh yeah, I should start a data log before I do a pull. Take two. That was a car that came out. Oh god, it's pulling so fast. Whoa, whoa. That was unreal. Okay. Let me check the data log. If it's good, I'm gonna do another pull. Yeah, I don't know, air-fuel ratios look solid. Let's do another pull. Just did few pulls. The car felt so good. Revved it all the way to like 7,000 RPM. Oh, look at that. There's another guy going for a rip. That guy is ripping and he sounds supercharged. Well, that's what people do here in Mexico. I think they just rip around. Yeah, the car felt awesome and actually revved up. The coils are up to the task. That's amazing. I'm actually dumbfounded that switching the plugs have fixed the issue. This is awesome, and data logs show like solid air fuel ratios all the way to like higher PMs. I think my injector duty was like really like 75%, and they were just doing fine. The air fuel ratios are perfect. However, I did notice another problem. There is knock, and that's not due to air fuel ratio. Not sure what that's about. Maybe I have a rattle in wastegate. And yeah, clearly I should not be revving my car up over 4,000 RPM because that's where the knock starts. There is like, see, negative number means its timing is getting retarded. Positive number means its timing is advancing. So the car feels like, oh, I can add some more timing to this and get more power. But negative is bad. I should not have any negative. So frustrating, but also exciting, and also probably the end of the video. Thanks for sticking around. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do in the next video, but I will definitely do some brainstorming in the meanwhile. See ya.